For today's video, I'm testing out a brand new bimini from a company called OceanSouth. I want to see the difference between stainless steel biminis and aluminum biminis. What I have installed to the boat right now is a very popular bimini that I've used before. This is the Cat bimini. It's all aluminum. It's really affordable. It has really nice side panels that come down. So if you have the sun coming at you from an angle, it does really good shading for the entire boat. But I have been running into some issues with it on this boat that I hadn't had before. I get a lot of side to side shaking, and that's caused some problems for me. When the bimini is completely deployed, it still has that same side to side shake to it. These biminis are put together with really thin aluminum and plastic connectors everywhere. So I'm thinking that there's just gonna be a lot of play in the setup by its nature. The new bimini that I got from a company called OceanSouth, this is a stainless steel bimini, roughly the same size as the one I'm gonna be using now, but it's gonna have all different types of components. First thing I wanna do to get started on testing these two things out is removing the old bimini, getting the new one unboxed, and see what's involved with setting it up. Just from weight alone, you can feel how much more robust these are. Not only is this stainless, but it's a thick stainless. Like, I can't bend this in any way. Much more rigid. Look at the hardware connections here. This is where all the black plastic was on the other one. This is all stainless steel, which looks like bolts rather than rivets. I'm really excited to see how this works. So the actual bimini top itself has a pouch to hold the cover for it. On the other one, when you take the cover off, you don't really have anywhere to put it, so you just ball it up and throw it on the bottom of the boat. So following these instructions here, the side with the connector, this pole here is this one, needs to go in on the side that has the cover storage. Let's just go ahead and start getting these poles connected. All right, so at this point, we have the frame built, everything's all connected and pushed in, and then we have the cover installed. So now I need to work on getting the mounting points added to the rail system on this boat, and then we can install it and see how it works. All right, so here's everything I need to get ready to install the bimini to the boat. We need to remove the old plastic bimini hardware from the previous bimini, and then we need to install the four angled brackets onto these brackets here. These need to get installed onto the bimini poles itself. We'll probably do this once the bimini is up on the boat so we can kind of see where it needs to be oriented. This gets installed with, okay, looks like 2 self-tapping screws. So we'll do that when we get to that. And then these support poles need to get installed with these caps being added to the one end using a set screw. That way this can go in at the right angle, and then we'll tighten everything down once we have it in place. So you want your angles pitched in a way so it's pitching towards the inside of the boat. It's gonna go on this side here. So when this is installed to the boat, you can see how it's angled differently and offset from the plastic ones that are just straight up and down. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and drill out the rivets on all 4 of these mounts, and then I'm just gonna rivet the new mounts onto the track mounts. All right, so with all this mounted up, let's go ahead and get this onto the boat, and then we can start installing the bimini and then attaching the support poles and the straps and see how this all looks. Okay, so in preparation for installation, I have a 5mm Allen wrench here. I was able to remove all of the screws on all 4 mounts. Now I should be able to slot the bimini in place, attach the mounts. I guess we're actually gonna be doing the center mounts to get started. Then I'm gonna lay it down, and then we're gonna attach the support poles. Well, one thing is for sure is that this fits the boat much better than the other one. Seems to be a little bit taller, so it's laying back further while being mounted more towards the center of the boat. So when this eventually opens up, this is gonna have a much better coverage of the entire boat. So let's go ahead and open this up, and I guess we'll just go from there. Oh no. This is tall enough where I can't open it up in my garage. Shoot. Since I'm gonna have to take this out of the garage and I'm gonna be having this leaned on my outboard for a little while, I figured it'd be a great time to check out the outboard motor cover that OceanSouth had sent along with the Bimini. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this on the boat, see how it looks, and that way it'll give a little bit more protection as I'm resting the Bimini on top until I can get this out of the garage and finish the install. All right, so let's see what's inside. Ooh, it looks to be a black cover. That's nice. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice material. All right, well, let's throw it on and see what it looks like. Oh, the inside is it's like a felted material. So that'll definitely help with avoiding scratches. I really like that. I gotta say, that is a very nice outboard cover. It is completely encased the outboard. If you were needing to store your boat outside, what a great way to do that. This is the, let's see, the M15 to 20. I think that's Mercury motors. Here's the options right there. See if it'll cover what you have. This is a 90 horse 2024, so just for reference, but yeah, fits great. There's also another buckle on the front that you can do around all your control cables to make sure that's all tucked in nice. Fits on the bottom over the prop. Very nice outboard cover. All right, so in just reviewing everything I did so far, I noticed that I put the Bimini on the boat backwards. This long pole here on the top side with the knuckle attached to the shorter pole, this is actually supposed to be the side that's flat on your boat. I was reading the diagram wrong. So at this point, I need to get this flipped over to the other side. I need to pull the boat out of the garage so we have some room to lift it up, and then we can get the support pole and front straps installed and see how this looks. All right, now that we are outside, we have a lot more room to raise this Bimini up. One other thing I need to do now though is attach those straps to the front of the Bimini. Just to show you guys again what I'm having to fix that I messed up when I put the cover on. I thought that the pole went through this loop here. This is actually the access port for the pole to attach your strap to. It has to come out the end of it here. That was a little unclear for me. So I just had to disconnect the pole on each side, route it through the correct way, and then reattach it. All right, so at this point I have it just loosely in place right now. It's a little crooked. I need to work on getting everything in the correct mounting positions for, these two pieces are aligned with each other. The front two straps are the same length, but at least now I can get an idea of where this is gonna sit and where I need to put the rear support poles. All right, so I've been troubleshooting this and I've been trying to find why this isn't straightening up the way it should be. I noticed that this pin was missing. Well, the pin is actually stuck on the inside of the tube. So what I'm doing is using a pick here, pulling the pin out, and it has to go all the way through. There we go. So now that pin is back, and then I had another one that was stuck here that's not coming out all the way, but you can just kind of wiggle it a little bit. There we go. Now all the pins should be coming through correctly. I'm gonna hit all these with a bit of silicone grease just to make sure they slide easy. And now I'm gonna get them reinstalled into the poles and hopefully everything sets up the way it should. All right, so I know that we are skipping ahead a little bit in this install process, but it took a lot of back and forth configuring how I wanted it, and I'm pretty sure I have it how I want it now. Here's another good angle of just how tall the Bimini is. Something I noticed that while I was up there is I could sit in any of the seats and I would have no problem casting off the sides or just walking around the boat. Also, these arches are big enough that you can crawl through, not crawl through, but you can step through to get on and off the boat. I was a little worried that this was gonna make it difficult to get off the boat, but it was actually no problem, and I'm 6 foot, so that was surprising. Big takeaway right off the start is that this is much bigger than the one I had before. It seems to be longer and taller, which gives much more shade on the boat. From the steering wheel all the way back to on top of the motor is covered in shade now. That's incredible. In addition to that, and you can probably see it just from how taut everything is, but this is way more stable. It has a little bit of sway back and forth, but it's not nearly as much as the aluminum was. And also everything isn't completely tightened down yet. I'm still playing with this front strap here, these two front straps, and I'm not entirely sure where I'm gonna put these back support poles yet, but I do have everything configured in a way where it looks really good. And now when I close the Bimini, it sits in a really good position. Here, I'll give you a wide shot here. All right, so this ended up being a lot more work than I expected. Just some final thoughts on some issues that I ran into. Number one, make sure the poles are oriented in the correct position. Look at the diagrams, make sure that so you don't have to redo that. Number two, the little buttons that slide into the holes to connect the two poles together. I was having a real hard time with those seating. Other than that, everything worked just fine. As I said in the beginning, these poles are extremely sturdy. I'm not gonna worry about it swaying all around when you're even going at a slow speed on the boat. I don't think I would have any issue with this while it was on the water. I also really like the in-cover storage for the main cover that covers the whole thing. That's really cool because in the other one, once the cover's off, it's just floating around the boat. It can get blown out of the boat. So that's a good way to keep it all together. So overall, the quality is excellent. The sturdiness is there. Price is probably gonna be about double or so the cost of an aluminum one. If you're looking for a Bimini and you want something just a little bit better than those cheap Amazon aluminum ones, I would highly recommend the OceanSouth one. If you're paying for in price, you're definitely getting in quality. All right, well, if you guys have any questions about this video, feel free to drop a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this and other stuff I got coming up for this boat, and more throughout the year, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.